では最後に神聖の町渋谷のますますの発展を願い開催の言葉とさせていただきます。皆様ご協力のほどよろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, give me just one quick moment. I'm going to just adjust a few things and turn off the lights. Although I think we're well past the point of this game being extremely spooky, but you know, could be wrong. Okay, so lights need to go off. Okay, I'm back. It's been, honestly, a very long time. Okay, maybe not that bad, but a few days at least? Okay, let's get going. Okay, so let me try to catch us up on things. It's been a while. I kind of forgotten myself, but I think we've supposedly found out the true murderer. That would be, okay, wait for it, the main character's dad. Alright, so I still am not entirely sure if that's truly the case. There's some factors that I think kind of fall into questioning that, but the problem now is we're trying to get out of the city, and if we can get out of the city, we can avoid the general belief that the true killer, according to the public, is the main character. And the true culprit of this game is a mind controller. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, but it's actually really interesting as a concept and how they brought it up. So, we're trying to get out of the city, and we're trying to see if that's possible or not. The dad gave an ultimatum in a roundabout way that if we try to do anything suspicious, specifically he was talking to Serica, who was his former partner in crime. If we try to do anything suspicious, Takeru will be making a jump, a leap of faith from the building on a certain day at a certain time. And he has that power. The question is, will it happen? There's a few other things that I've been thinking about on the side as well. I've come to the realization that there's a character that needs to stay alive for safety concerns. And that character is Aramura. So I'll explain to you why she has to stay alive and how this factors into the theory of whether the main culprit is the dad or not. But for now, let me try to readjust to, well, it's like 2 in the morning, man. Let's try to remember everything. A 100,000 people in attendance? Wow. All packed there. Yeah, so annually there's a festival to celebrate the rebirth of Shibuya ever since the earthquake that destroyed the city. They've been celebrating it every year. But keep in mind that they rebuilt the city very quickly, and there's this kind of implication that no one's really had time to remorse, I guess is one way to put it. Man, no one from the previous stream stuck around. That is actually expected, now that I think about it. This game, honestly, it's hard to jump in if you haven't started reading with us since the beginning. remorse is not a verb. Time to mourn. Yeah, there we go. Remorse is a noun. Yeah, you'll have to give me a little bit of leeway. I should probably get some coffee, in all honesty. But I wanted to finish Chaos Child within the span of the time that I had. And it's a little bit hard to stream when Scott's streaming at a certain time period too. But I don't really want to take away from him streaming because it's, one, helpful, and two, beneficial. Honestly, I think I really should get coffee now because I can't even pay attention to the screen. That's pretty bad. And I just started the stream too. So yeah, give me a little bit of, give me a little time to like readjust. I'm gonna make some instant coffee or something. Hey Mystica, how you doing? It's been a while. Hey Love Heart, how you doing? Okay, my apologies for the wait. I had to make some coffee. I mean, I still say that the way you experience a work or a piece of art, whatever you want to call it, it can be dependent upon your surroundings. So reading something alone might help you concentrate more on what's happening. So if you really find like a work is really influential to you, you can try seeing it in different settings. Like watching a stream versus watching a video versus reading it on your own. There's different experiences tied with each.
今度はここ?
Okay, let me raise the volume just a tad bit. Mamone Takeyanagi was going to be performing on stage. I wonder if that's a character from Chaos Sub. That sounds like something they would do. Ever since she happened to hear Takenagi's voice at the concert hall, she's been a fan or perhaps a dedicated believer. Ah. No. It was her. Now I remember. Everything's coming back. This is why I need coffee. Am I streaming till the end? I'm streaming probably a little bit past the common route, assuming how long the stream is. I don't have much time to stream when Scott's streaming, because he streams around 8, you see. Yeah, so I will have to probably go as far as I can tonight. Also, I'm expecting to do something on the weekends. Hang on, go back. She'd been caught up in the return of the new generation madness and murdered. Now there was barely any point in covering the Restoration Festival anymore. But she still had the smile on a bay when her boss told her to come here, and in the end... yeah. That was always that kind of weird thing. The professionalism that comes with work ethic. As in, if you're like a PR representative or an HR representative... Nah, more like... Yeah, sure. If you're like the face of a company, smiling is kind of important. It's like a reporter, as an example. I can see that getting very tiring. I need that coffee, man. This thing's freaking burning my lips. Ow. A big red question mark?
Konnichiwa. 何してるんですか?
うわ、テレビ？どこっすか？
これっすよ、これ。
Are you serious? These people are wearing sumo sticker t-shirts out in public. That's gonna be fun.
テレビ来てるってことは、やっぱマジなんすか？スイポの情報。
何ですかそれ？
宮代がここで自殺するって噂が流れてんすよ。
There we go. All right, that's the thing we're going to try to avoid.
Miyashiro って指名手配になっている宮代拓くんですか？
あ、画像ありますよ。
こんなものどうして持ってるんですか？
Oh my god, I know exactly how she feels. No, seriously. Tell me if you've ever asked a question you already knew the answer to. And I'm not saying, like, to be rude to someone, but in different contexts you do that to... One of it is to get around someone's ego. Another one is to see if they have any other aspects to a conversation that they can add. Another aspect is building up your relationship with someone, which is why you would ask a question you already know the answer to. It's strange, I know.
ネット見てないんすか？みんな持ってますよ。
俺らマジで懸賞金狙ってますから。
You can ask out of shock, I suppose. I do it too, actually.
その T シャツはご自分で作られたんですか？
まさか、さっき300円で買ったんすよ。超絶ダサいっしょ。ネタネタ。
Some of them were being sold as part of a movement to get rid of the sumo stickers so people could focus on the festivals. But some just wore it to be part of the chaos. Okay.
宮代拓くんについてどう思いますか？
調子こいてますね。連続殺人？しかも同じ施設のやつもでしょ？何やってもいいと思ってんすよ、こいつ。
Trying to think right now. So, how did it come to this point? It came to this point because the police who are under the culprit's thumb have been mesmerized or brain controlled, whichever you want to call it, to release information to incriminate the main character. There's a lot of weird aspects about it. I'm trying to think how else this would come about for you to just believe information like that. There was one other aspect. It was... Oh, supposedly the main character wrote a letter to the police. An email. There we go. Wrote an email to the police. And the first thing I had to ask was, how do you know that Takuru wrote that email? And the explanation was bullshit. Right? That they had some type of information to identify that the person who wrote the email was Takuru. Like, what the fuck?
こいつのこと、神とか言ってるオタク連中？マジキモくないっすか？俺らそういうの許せないんすよ。
But obviously, that's the point, right? Oh, right. And the letter that came from Nono was never released to the public. It was only given to Takuru, which understandably is because it's so personal, but I imagine that would also divert public opinion.
Miyashiro Takuru、ニュージェネレーションの狂気の再来の犯人。そうだ、噂話でも何でもいい。宮代の目撃情報をどうにかしてかき集めて、わかりやすくこういう奴らの前にさらしてやる。
Okay, I'm already concerned. This reporter might be a bit unhinged. Sorry, whoa, take a step back. What did you just say? She wouldn't let that happen. That wouldn't atone for her murder at all. Ah!
ちょっと、どうしたの？
あ、そうだ、すいません。最後に一つ。今日はどちらから？
埼玉っすよ。チャリで来ました。
Oh, hey, Peaches. Oh my god, it's been a while. I'm glad to see that you're here. Man, you've been up at weird times, just like I have. And we're both from Cali. How do you find time to stay up like this? Because I'm drinking coffee right now to stay awake. Ah, so she's being affected by... I mean, that was obvious when I first saw the blood overlay, but she's being affected by people wearing the sumo sticker. So if 100,000 people are gathered here, which is a lot, by the way, there's a certain percentage of them which might be prone to these stickers, and here's one of them. Well, you were right, Peaches.
調子こいてますね。連続殺人？しかも同じ施設のやつもでしょ？何やってもいいと思ってんすよ、こいつ。
誰が調子ついてるって。
By the way, what I'm doing right now is, I know this is irrelevant, but I'm testing something out right now on the stream. So, there was an XSplit error. There was an XSplit error that happened last month, and the error was if you're trying to locally record something while streaming XSplit on the most updated version at that time, there would be a huge processing error. So, if there's any stream delay, well, audio cutouts or stream delays, please let me know. Stream delays? More like video quirkiness. How about that? Oh, man.
タクルさん。
おい、ここへ来ちゃダメだろ。新庄さんと優斗は？
新庄さんは今電話を。優斗くんはお薬を飲んで私の部屋で眠ってます。
そっか。
Oh, the trip to Canada? I only saved one person, Psycho Mantis. Kiryu died yet again. Let me double check that. Okay.
クルス・ノノを殺したのは私だよ。山添雨季、和樹花。
Ah, because they were thinking that in their heads, and she answered them in their heads.
他のすべての事件もあなたなんですか？
そうだ。
どうして？いえ、だったら私がいた場所のこと何か知ってるんですよね。私がお世話をしていた皆さんは今どこに？
さあな、私にはわからん。
答えてください。お願いです。あなたが全ての犯人なら知っているはずです。
そうだ。
Ah. Yeah, that was the one person we didn't tell, right? That's gonna be interesting. How are we gonna do this?
雨季は父さんを慕っていたから。
The thing is, we could still be wrong. Jeez, man, we had this big discussion the last time we streamed this, on why I was unhappy with certain choices the author made. Which was, one was Serika being an imaginary friend brought to real life. That one was mainly because I felt that it kind of hurt, emphasizing that the coincidence of her being there with him in the past and how they bonded that way was meaningful. And yeah, that's kind of the point for them destroying that, but I liked having that aspect actually mean something in the story. Also, the imaginary friend kind of like twist thing has happened before, and I think twist for the sake of twists isn't really cool, but you can definitely make an argument for Serika being an imaginary friend to destroy the past relationships and therefore cause this tension. I get that. But the other one was the dad being incredibly arrogant and revealing himself to be the murderer. And there was tons of discussion over this, whether he really is the murderer or not. Because if you were the mind controller, why is there any reason for you to reveal yourself? Why not just mind control someone else and say, hey, I'm the mind controller, here's my plans, yada yada yada, right? It would divert attention, and that would make a lot of sense. But what was it? It was something else. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember the same thought process. I mean, that's a possible way of interpreting it. But the reason why I was so insulted at one point with Serika, to the point, you know, right? Since the beginning of this visual novel, yeah, I was very, very suspicious of her, but I still wanted to believe in her, right? And even when she was, like, conveyed that it was obvious that she killed someone, I was like, I still want to believe in her. What if she's being mind-controlled? And she is being blackmailed, and she was being attempted to be mind-controlled, right? So that's the element of, like, faith kind of working in this visual novel and trying to show itself. Anyway, where was I? The thing that I wanted to know immediately was, did you do all these things to save Takeru? Because if Takeru dies, you're going to die, and that's all you care about? AKA, Takeru has to live because I care about my own life. If Takeru dies and I die, I don't want that. That's the only thing. I just want to live. That's it, right? Or is it because I care enough about Takeru that I want him to live, and there's extra reason to it? But here's the thing. She's killed so many people that are valuable to him in his life that secondary explanation is really hard to figure out and use to defend her. And she hasn't said anything about that yet, which is the main thing. If you truly care about me, why'd you kill all these people who are relevant to my life? Right? So then, like, that's the thing. That's the thing that pushed me very far away from Serika. Because I don't think she gives a shit about Takeru. And if she does, it's only for her own self-preservation. There are more things important in life than just one survival. And I reject someone who only does things to survive with no other thing that is more relevant to them. I'm really curious where that's going to go with the story. So anyway, that's the reason why I was really unhappy with Serika's reveal. That can change, and I'm hoping it will change. The dad thing, because I need to bring this up. Doesn't she only care about Takeru? Okay. So if you really care about someone, let's say you really love someone, right? But if you really love someone and you ruin so many aspects of their life, the question is, do you really love that person? It's the same kind of concept I'm trying to bring back to you here, but I want to move away from that and go to the dad. So there's something I'm trying to figure out. So either the author did the big reveal that the mind controller is the dad, and that was made to have extreme impact, right? That, oh my god, it's the dad, the person they trusted all along. How could you like even think to implicate him as the murderer, right? Yeah, that has a lot of impact. But it also runs into a lot of logical problems, right? We've seen the arrogant villain before, and their downfall being their own arrogance, their extreme hubris, has happened so many fucking times that I've gotten kind of exhausted from seeing that over and over again. And this villain who has mind control, that's extremely powerful, right? So if the dad is actually truly the culprit, I have a problem with that, because it ends up writing him as pretty stupid, if you ask me. Which is that he places himself as so above others that he's incapable of falling, which is what he does essentially, right? He experiments on humans like they're playthings, which means that he doesn't treat other people as if they're on the same level. So that's him being above, right? But that arrogance thing kind of being the downfall again is getting really frustrating. I don't like that in terms of writing. And I have a lot of faith in this writer based on what I've seen him do before and also his execution of writing. So I'm actually led to believe that that isn't the case. That the dad being the real murderer isn't the case. And how I can defend that besides me understanding, like, off their intentions is this character right here, Arimura. So I'm taking a little bit of a break to explain a few things, but also to get myself caught up again and understand the mentality that I'm going through. So say the dad is actually the killer, right? There's something very funky by that. And the reason why that's funky is if the dad is really the mind controller, then he's gone through a lot of weird things that he should have kind of fixed already. Let's just say 100% the dad is the villain and the mind controller, okay? He stays at the clinic all the time. And we learn that his intentions that he unveils to the group and Serica, right, is that he wants to kill all the remnants of the human experiments that happened in the lab years ago. Because by doing so, he will prove to this committee that he is capable of controlling leaks and controlling espers in such a way that he should be given another chance to conduct the human experiments that once existed in the lab yet again, right? And so all the remnants of the human experiments, any person who essentially became an esper after the earthquake happened, he's trying to remove them to say that he is a capable individual. Here's the problem. Say that's his goal, right? Kill all these people and then get the organization to recognize me. There's a bunch of espers that live in his fucking home every single day, and he's not killed them yet. Why? Right? Why would you have Serica, who can read minds, and not say, this person is a risk, kill that person. Read that person's mind, oh, that person is an esper, kill that person. And the thing is, Serica doesn't even have to do that. All you gotta do is say, Serica, which esper? That person, mind control, dead. That person, esper, mind control, dead. Right? Done, 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 done. And he's around them every single day. So then, you have to figure out, why doesn't he just do that? Mind control this person, go die. Go jump off a cliff, I don't care, right? Why doesn't he do that? One possibility is that dad isn't freaking the real villain, right? And the other possibility is, for some reason, he needs Serica to kill the people, to possibly prove her loyalty or some shit. Okay, there's another thing that also comes into this, which is when you mind control someone, after a certain period of time, their mind breaks down, and they're not as useful anymore. That doesn't mean that if you mind control an esper, you can't use their abilities. You still can, right? It's just that they're not as capable. So that might be an explanation for why Aramura is still alive. So say the dad is 100% the mind controller, right? And he needs to have Serica kill the other people and not have himself do that for some reason, okay? The reason why Aramura is alive is if Serica betrays him. Because Serica does what? She reads minds. What does Aramura do? She can tell if someone's lying or telling the truth. It's kind of like a backup plan. So we've been talking about this like the entire time, and the thing was, this guy wants to get the committee to reinstate him as the head of the human experiment lab, right? A bunch of us, if not all of us, said that's a huge risk because he's a person who can mind control people. And to give this guy power to essentially experiment more with Esper powers is like saying you are creating a ticking time bomb and we're okay with it, right? Now, it could be that he's lied to the committee members and that's the reason why he has to have Serica kill everyone. Like, I don't have mind control powers. What the hell are you talking about? Serica killed all of them, right? That could be the reason why. In which case, that supports the theory that the dad is actually the killer. But that also kind of helps something else, which is without Serica, he can't read the minds of the committee members and see if they truly want to, have him be the head of this new found human lab thing that he wants. That's why Aramura exists, right? Where I cannot mind control Aramura because if I do early on, then I'm going to lose the ability to see if the community members actually trust me or not in doing this. So that's my explanation for why Aramura hasn't been just said, hey, go die, right? Go die. And Serica, go die now, right? I'm going to mind control you, go die. Repeat, XN. So that supports the theory that the dad is actually the killer. And there's pros and cons to that. Pros, I guess the impact of the reveal that the dad's really the killer. Cons, I'm getting freaking tired of seeing arrogance being the downfall of, bad guys, okay? I'm really tired of that. So I'm more likely to believe that there's another killer out there. But you can defend both arguments, because I've essentially set it up for you, right? I've given you the sides to show that if I were the killer and I am the dad, this is the reason why I'm doing this. I'm hoping it's something else. And I'm looking for it right now. Okay, so now that we're all caught up, let's go. Well, the community is letting him clean up and plan to get rid of him after. Yeah, I'm likely to believe that too. We covered that as well. Like none of us really believe that he's going to get reinstated as the head of the human experiments lab that he wants. There's something else going on. So I'm willing to bet that the dad isn't really the killer. And part of that is me being informed by how much thought I think this visual novel has and how the author is anticipating those kind of responses from us. And I'll have to keep reading more to see if this is the case or not. But a lot of it is because I'm pretty damn sure the author knows how to write. Also, there's something that we've been missing. We are near the end of the common route, and there's a big... What's that question mark there for? Like, what is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be a last person, right? So that also kind of gives me an indication that it's going to be something bigger that we're missing out here.
お前なら佐久間の正体に気づける可能性があったんだがな。おそらく6年前に会っているはずだ。
Yeah, I think Senri is still alive. I legitimately think that. I don't want to take more time to explain why, though. Let's just keep moving, please.
何の話を？
まあ、あんな状況では無理かもしれないが、佐久間は。
だからやめろ！
I thought you bopped her with your finger. Yeah, like you just like bopped her with your like knuckle or something. Okay, well, either or, using your power or punching her. Oh. Okay, so I'm actually kind of worried about this because there's been a lot of tells that this character is kind of getting a little bit more ultra violence. I remember that was some type of weird meme in Falcom games. I need more coffee. I'm barely awake right now. Oh, man.
こっちを見ろ。
Oh, I said violent instead of violent. You know what I mean. But yeah, I've explained this before. I think if he wants to make an argument that espers are real people, he can't kill anyone, because that would destroy that entire argument.
いい加減にしろよお前。これ以上大切な家族の心を壊すな。
Also, a really big question hasn't been asked, and it's a very logical question too. Something that you and I would immediately think of. The random average person would think of the same question. Serica knows something about the mind control powers, but she's yet to say it. And that's the very first thing I would ask her. The thing is, I have no idea how to explain this to Uki. I mean, everyone's on the same page except for her.
それに、新庄さんが突然、荷物をまとめろって、それと何か関係あるんですか？
それは。
Well, I mean, there's that. But the problem is we have to tell her the truth because it's vital to her surviving and understanding too. It's just a cruel truth to say, but there's a possibility, right? There is the possibility that that isn't really the culprit, and I don't think anyone in the game has realized that yet, unfortunately.
Fuck!
父さんにやられたっていう傷か。後で必ず話すから、今は言われた通りに荷物をまとめてくれ、ウキ。で
も、
You know, there's something I realized with mystery novels. Now that I'm trying to analyze this, there's this nagging feeling that I really dislike. And the feeling of not understanding is something I really dislike. So, I might be one of those guys who can't stand reading something he doesn't get. Is that always the case, though? Like, with... No, that isn't always the case. Sometimes I just enjoy the experiment, or the experience, rather. But I wonder how I'm going to handle Umaneko when I go back to it.
ありがとうな。ついてこいよ。いいから来いって。あれ？
What does Koopa really mean, Brizzle?
変だな。
Okay, that's misunderstanding the context. I'm sorry.
外科用の設備などここにはないだろう。
I definitely understand the value of waiting and letting times to seep in and understand things. I've been a proponent of that multiple times. But there's this nagging feeling that I get from mystery novels, which is I want to understand the thought process a lot. And the reason for that is because I don't like the agency being taken away from me, which is I'm being tugged around completely by the whims of the author, right? I want to understand the author's intentions. So I, myself, can understand how he's putting in writing in such a way to execute themes of the story. Now, this isn't just with stories. It comes with conversations as well. If you understand that there are certain actions in speech that are considered very negative, then you understand that a lot of them take away agency from people. So here's an example. Provoking someone. Why is that considered not neutral? It's considered negative. Why? Because you're trying to invoke an emotion from someone and you're taking away someone's agency to feel natural, right? Why is guilt tripping someone considered negative? It's because you're trying to invoke guilt from someone and you're trying to take away their agency. Why is manipulative characters who try to force your thoughts in a certain way so they can adhere to your own goals considered a negative? Because exactly that, right? You're taking away someone's free will. That's why. So I feel that way, not all the time when it comes to stories, because I'm willing to interpret things and, understand the themes and get some type of message from it. But when it comes to mystery novels, I really want to understand what's happening because I want to see how the writer executes things in a certain way to guide your attention away from ideas and aspects of it, right? So the reason why I've been so suspicious of Serica so much throughout the visual novel is because I recognize those intentions from the author. And I'm not saying they're bad, right? I'm saying that's skillful because that's what you have to do sometimes when it comes to creating a mystery, right? You need to set up things in such a way where there is an unknown, that something is looming, right, in the horizon, and what is it? So when I would read Serica's lines, there would always be these weird inserts of explanation when things didn't make sense. So Serica trembled the very second they went into the lab. No one else was trembling, and I'm like, but it's just an empty room, or the hallway's empty. What's immediately scaring you here? And then insert explanation. But the explanation didn't come from a descriptive, how do I explain this? The explanation came from an unreliable source, which is it came from a first-person narrator who was the main character, right? So then these how much I trust in Takeru's own analysis and observation is lessened throughout the visual novel because they're doing that on purpose. Because the visual novel is about freaking perception.
一般家庭の救急箱よりマシだろ。それに。
And there's other aspects of it. So I'm essentially saying, you misunderstood. Don't take that offensively, because I can definitely see where you got your interpretation of things, but how much of what I've said ever in my stream chats with you guys has given the impression that I don't think taking time to think about things is somehow important?
そうだ。父さんは。
Yeah, but there's also an expectation with this visual novel, which is, since I started it, I've been trying my very best to explain why I have certain perceptions of the VN. Because I'm trying to unveil execution of writing, writer intentions, themes in the story, analysis. I'm not just trying to break down the mystery. This is the first time I've ever tried to analyze a visual novel on stream for someone, and I'm testing it out because I don't know if it's of interest to people. Because normally, doing this slows down the reading, and it makes it
違うな。
possibly less entertaining. Almost every single visual novel I've ever streamed on FinestKO focused more on entertainment for the viewer, right? But by doing so, I would lose my ability to analyze the text because my goal was to entertain you guys, not to focus on the text.
佐久間は相手の思考を誘導するという最悪な力を手に入れ、それを楽しんでいる人間だ。なのに、表向きはいい医者を演じていた。
So here's the thing. Remember how I said I didn't want to stream Steins Gate Zero? It was because when I read things on my own, I'm able to understand them better. Because I'm not focused on the chat and people doing things in the chat. Because it takes my attention away. That's all it does, right? But I'm finding that position in between experiencing a work alone and analyzing something like I normally do, and sharing it with someone else. So if I'm able to do this, and it's considered at least somewhat entertaining to people, then that means that whenever I get a future visual novel, instead of not streaming it because I'm so focused on analysis, I can share it with other people. And I found that even though I'm reading extremely slow, I do not normally read this slow whatsoever, that me explaining concepts helps me understand it better. So anyway, I'm gonna just focus on the text for now, please. I'm sorry, we've moved really slowly.
お前、それ。
Packing tape.
佐久間は以前、私が傷の応急処置にガムテープを使っているのを見て笑っていたよ。やるじゃねえか、と意味のわからないことを言ってな。お前は2番目の事件を覚えているか？ストリートミュージシャンの高柳が殺された事件だ。
Are you saying you patched her up?
腹が裂かれてスピーカーが埋め込まれていた。あの時、思考誘導された高柳が止血に使ったのがやはりガムテープだ。思考誘導された高柳が裂いた腹をガムテープで処置しているのを見た。なぜそんなことをさせているのか、あいつに尋ねたが、あいつはこう言った。
お前に似てるだろ？人形みたいで面白いじゃねえか。
There's an interesting filter that's on top of the image right now. See that kind of grainy filter? I'm trying to understand why they would do that. Maybe you have an answer for that.
私は佐久間の思考を読んだ。何を考えてそんな言葉が出てくるのか知らなければと思った。
Okay, I need to step back now. Sorry. Her stomach was cut open and speaker. Okay. She's just like you, right? A doll is not funny. I could imagine his tone and his voice. I felt all the hairs in my body stand up on end. So he is imagining the same thing that's happening. Okay.
あいつは言葉以上のことを考えていなかった。頭の中にはただ面白いという声だけが反響していた。 あいつは異常だ。よく快楽殺人と言われるものがあるが、それですらない。自分にとって面白いかどうかだけが重要で、その行為が殺人かどうかにさえ興味がないんだ。あいつに気持ちを寄せるな。理解しようとするな。優しい父親だったという思い込みを捨てろ。
別にそんなつもりはない。
Okay, so Serica, does he?
違う。お前はまだ佐久間に対して何かを期待している。でもあいつにとっては食後のお前たちとの談笑も残虐な殺人も同じことなんだぞ。
Ah! Oh, okay. This just made something click in my head. What is it? There's a concept that I don't know how to explain, so give me a second. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you straight up from my head. It's not gonna make any sense. Matrix, everything you believe is incorrect. Objective fact might be wrong. Relatable to personal relationships. What if everything I knew was wrong? Indicates fear. This is how you subvert one's ability to feel comfort and knowledge. Turn it around. Okay, so none of that made sense because I'm not actually trying to convey my thoughts in a way that makes sense to you yet, right? I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. But if you understood the thought process, like this ... right, then maybe you'll understand what I'm trying to say.
そんなつもりないって言ってるだろ。
It was something that I had a conversation with. I talked to someone about this the other day, actually. And we all go through life. I imagine every single one of us has thought about this at one point. And that thought is whether what we believe is actually true or not, right? And I wouldn't go so far as to go towards the Matrix, right? So maybe the world we see is all completely fake. I'm not going that far. I'm talking about relationships with people and whether the leap of faith that we have to take when trusting someone and trying to understand their intentions can be completely falsified if you give a different angle. And this is essentially what Serica is doing. And it fits really well with how the visual novel wants to subvert the fact that knowledge is one of man's strongest abilities. The ability to rationalize is mankind's strength, at least one of them, right? And now we don't even have that anymore. And the other thing I was thinking, which is irrelevant to what I'm talking to you about right now, is why does Takeru stop going at her throat? And not like literally, like metaphorically. Why does he stop being so aggressive against her the moment she shows those wounds, right? And there's an easy answer to that, but I'm also thinking from a writer's perspective why I think I can say most of us accept this.
大体それをすぐに受け入れろって言われたって無理に決まってるだろ。
And I think the concept is I also feel pain despite the fact that I may seem inhuman to you. And that is forming a connection in Takeru's head, and it's implicitly being stated with us as well. Anyway, next thing I'm trying to figure out is visuals. Why a grainy filter? And these are all like small thoughts I have in my head every single time I see things like this.
ここは外科じゃないからな。手術道具が置いてあるとは思えない。それより奥の机の一番下の引き出しを見てくれ。
Okay, I mean, you're perfectly welcome to have zero sympathy or empathy for Serica, right? She's done a lot of terrible things, a lot of which can easily be argued for she doesn't actually care for anyone but herself. I've given you a possible analysis of that already, right? But there's this inkling feeling that I'm not sure if the author's going to get into, which is Serica is a creation of the main character, right? A figment of his imagination, his thoughts, his desires to create someone to be there for him manifests its Serica. So what I'm trying to say is that Serica is a part of him. And if Serica is a killer, then what does that say about him? And how she came about specifically, it's heavily implied that that murderous intention that he had for his parents, and when he faints, that's when Serica appears, right? So he's not innocent out of all of this, because he's felt the same kinds of intentions as well, and that's been conveyed to Serica.
何？
クルス殿がよく使っていた机だ。そこに裁縫道具が入っているだろう。
So if you believe that when you create something, you're putting a bit of yourself into it, you know, artists and writers understand this concept, right? You're not just putting your blood, sweat, and tears into the thing that you're creating. You're also putting and imbuing some aspects of yourself into your work. In which case, that's being conjured up when Serica is made here. And this isn't just from an artistic point of view. It happens in religion too, right? That if you look, as an example, the Christian religion, we were created by God, right? This is a monotheistic, at least it is, right? It's a monotheistic religion, unless you consider Jesus part of... Okay, alright, it can vary. But anyway, the point is, God created humans in the likeness of... Exactly, right? You get the point I'm saying? Now, you don't have to believe in that. I'm just giving you an example of how when you create something, you're putting yourself into it. Okay. I gave them to Serica, and she grabbed a needle and thread at random. She disinfected them and started words to her personal stomach. Ugh.
こいつ、今までどんな生活を?
So I think there's a limit to how far you can take. Like, when you create something, you're putting yourself into it, right? There's a limit almost for everything. I don't think it applies in every single scenario, but that's because life is more complex than that, right? So the question is, how much is applicable in this situation? And I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I'm trying to figure it out as I read.
父さんは僕やお前をどこに呼び出したんだ?
すべての始まりとなった場所。その始まりの時刻に来いと言っていただろう。
Okay, so we're thinking the lab? Question mark?
わかんねえか今回の事件。いや、6年前の事件も含めて全てが始まった場所だよ。
Or is it the planetarium? Because the planetarium exploded, and then because of that, 6 years ago, a bunch of people got esper powers, so there's that too.
そう、そこだよ。ついでに時間も合わせようじゃねえか。あの時あの場所でってやつだ。
お前や久野里が考えた通り、元凶は渋谷自身にある。あれは、とある装置が爆発したせいで引き起こされたものだ。そして、お前たちが発生因子と呼んでいるもの。実際は、ある特殊な電磁波だが、それが拡散されてしまった。
Is she saying this as she's sewing her stomach up? Because that's a little bit grotesque. And they're still showing us this picture.
それによって望まれない能力者が覚醒することになった。
渋谷自身が人工地震だったっていう陰謀論は事実だったのか。
そういうことになるな。お前たちもフリージアで話していたが、その装置はかつて渋谷駅前のプラネタリウムに密かに設置されていた。
Like you were told at Frisia, that device was secretly set up in a planetarium in front of Shibuya Station. Okay, hang on. First things first, clarify this. What is that device? It was caused by the explosion of a certain device. That device that they're showing us? And what you call the causal factor is a special type of electromagnetic wave. Actually, that was spread out from there. That's what caused the psychics to awaken. So the conspiracy theory that Shibuya earthquake was caused artificially was true. Okay, so hang on. That thing right there is there to awaken Esper powers. And when it exploded, it awakened Esper powers. Can we use that? Or is it gone forever? I'm assuming it's not there anymore, but maybe it's being rebuilt or something.
Do
you remember the end of Chaos Head? It's extremely vague in my head right now. I remember a short old man, and I remember the destruction of Shibuya, and I remember a song that was being played at the credits, and that's almost all I remember about that last scene.
そう。だが、ヒカリオの中に、かつてのプラネタリウムの DNA を引き継ぐというコンセプトのもと、新たに建造された施設がある。
But there's a facility inside the building that was modeled after the old planetarium. Do you remember the Noah 2? Nope. It's been a long time, man. Some company had bought out the planetarium and used it to do experiments. But that's where the Hikario is now, right? That's right, but there's a facility inside the building that was modeled after the old planetarium. Okay, so there's a planetarium within a planetarium, is what you're saying?
Bullshit!
それが、シアターキューブだよ。
え？
Huge theater located inside the planetarium. I'm guessing that's the name of it. It was used for musicals and famous performance groups from both inside and outside Japan. Oh, that looks really nice, actually. I've never been inside a planetarium before. The only planetarium I've ever been inside was the one inside Fuck, what was it called again? The one with the girl who's an android who has a bouquet of electronics, and she repeats a line repeatedly over and over and over and over again. I was gonna make a joke, but now I forgot it. That sucks. Planetarian. There we go. Oh god, I'm drinking something, Serika.
おそらくはお前だ、宮代拓。
僕。
今回の復興祭、ヒカリオはその中心の役割を担っていて、大勢の人間が集まっている。あいつは声明通り、お前を衆目の中、自殺に見せかけて殺すつもりだろう。
Okay, there we go. Okay, so if that's going to be prevented, I need you to tell me everything you can about the mind control. Do it, Takeru. Ask the most obvious question.
それに、復興祭の昼のイベントさえ終わってしまえば、夜の劇場は巨大な無人スペースになる。万一、ディソードで切り合う羽目になっても、人目を避けられる。
Once the event and afternoon are over, the theater will be a huge empty space by nightfall. If he does have to get into a fight with his D-sword, he can avoid being seen.
始まりの場所に来い、などと大行なことを言っていたが、あいつが何の意図もなく場所と時間を指定するはずがない。
Is there any particular reason why we have to go? Okay, so one of the reasons is to stop this from happening in the future, because to let him go is to say continue the human experiments and get away with it. We can just leave unless for some reason he's, prevented that option. Like, I don't know, I've mind controlled all the police to be at the borders of the city so you can't leave. In which case, well, we can bust through, but I don't think that's where the story's going. So, this encounter, huh?
ってことは、時間っていうのは
So, what keeps me inside Shibuya is my own decision to get back at my dad. Is that true? Phrasing it that way sounds like revenge. You can phrase it in a different way, which is, I want to prevent more human experiments in the future because they've destroyed so many lives, which is true. Also, if he does encounter his dad, he might have a way of clearing the suspicions on him that he's the killer. So there's that fact too. Because if you just bust outside of Shibuya right now, that's pretty much just saying you're the killer to everyone in the public.
午後10時28分。
10:28 p.m., huh?
午後10時28分をもって復興祭の雰囲気は一変する。それまでのお祭り騒ぎから参加者全員が黙祷を捧げ、渋谷は静寂に包まれる。
Okay, and this was the thing I was thinking about the entire visual novel, which is, I think this earthquake is artificially made, and if that's the case, did it happen because of these murders happening? So if these murders do happen, the earthquake will happen guaranteed? Question mark, right? Is that gonna happen again? Well, I don't know. Maybe.
そんな中、自殺の声明を出したお前が登場するわけだ。どうなるか想像がつくだろう。あのクズめ。
Nono told Taku not to do anything dangerous. I mean, so there's that aspect too. So listen to Nono and bounce, or go inside and do something dangerous. What, let's say that you guys are Takeru, okay? So don't spoil in case you, for some reason, have a spoiler answer. You're Takeru. Listen to Nono and bounce, or get into the center of this and do something about it. I think either is actually a fine answer. It's just what do you feel like you would do?
"なんでお前はずっと父さんに従っていたんだよ?"
Okay, so he realizes that Serika actually feels something, and she's disgusted by it, which means there's an implication that she doesn't just feel nothing and kills people because why not, right?
何度も言っている。私を生み出した時のことは覚えているだろう。
Okay, so back to this thing I was saying, which is when you create something, you put yourself into it.
あの時、お前は、自らの生存を助けてくれる私を望んだ。私は、そのようにして生まれた。
Okay, so his wish, right?
それ以外に優先させる目的など、私には存在しない。そのために、他のすべてを捨ててきた。お前に生み出されたあの瞬間から、私はそうやって生きてきたんだ。そう生きることを与えられて、私は生まれたんだ。
It's a very narrow definition of someone's life.
お前を生かすためであれば、相手が佐久間だろうと誰だろうと黙って従う。責任を感じる必要はないぞ、宮代拓。お前はこれまで何も知らなかった。ギガロマニアックスのことも、その存在の裏で暗躍する連中がいることも。
Okay, so what she's doing right now is she's deflecting blame off of him and onto her.
だから、これはお前のせいじゃない。
いいのかよ。お前はそれで、いいのかよ。ユイやノノを殺したんだぞ。
I wonder if she's programmed. So that sounds really strange to say, but you know how she defines her life? It's by these words. You wanted someone to save your life. That's how I was born. I have no other purpose in life. I've given up everything else for that. Okay, so the very first thought that popped in my head when I read those lines was, your sense of identity is extremely compact. There's no room for anything else. It's just that no matter what, I must always save your life. There is room for nothing else. And the problem with that is, I'm trying to relate this to you guys so you can understand what I'm talking about. So if your identity is extremely compact and there's absolutely no room for anything else, that means what or who you perceive yourself to be and what others perceive yourself to be is really small, right? And Jesus, I can relate this to like gender dynamics in society, but I'm trying not to. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a concept, okay? And the concept is how marketing has expanded what's considered socially ideal in society. So for America, as an example, at one point, one of the social ideals and norms for masculinity, as an example, was the Marlboro cowboy, right? You've heard this before. The cold, not cold, but more like the silent protagonist who has a beard, unshaven, pretty buff. You're getting the mental image, hopefully, that I'm trying to convey here. And then, as time moved forward, that image of what was considered the masculine ideal changed, or it expanded, right? So you can have other options. And part of that is because of marketing. Seriously, believe it or not, right? So this is the idea of the metrosexual male, which is you're allowed to shave your beard, right? Because now you're selling, what do you call it? You're shaving cream and shavers. And I think, strangely enough, at one point, those weren't even marketed as things for women as well, which is strange because I think like wouldn't you like shave your leg hairs or some stuff like that? Anyway, shaving, right? So there's that aspect of not having that beard anymore. That's perfectly fine. There's clothing that you can wear, right? There's cologne that you can sell to males if you open it up. There's I mentioned clothing already, so we're at 4, I think. What else? There is... What else is something that came up that normally you couldn't sell in the past? Shaving, clothing, cologne, hair gel maybe? So that's styling your hair as well. I mentioned clothing, but I feel like there's something I'm missing. I'm trying to remember right now. Okay, anyway. Marketing can influence aspects of one's identity, whether you realize that or not. So when a company is trying to market something to you, it's trying to market an idea to you. So you've seen those car commercials, right? They're not just selling a car, they're selling an experience. And that experience, as an example, could be freedom, right? Freedom to go outdoors, freedom to control your life again, freedom to expand your horizons. That's been commonly associated with like marketing as an aspect, right? Okay, so then how does that relate back to identity and whether the room for your identity is compact or not? I'm saying that Serika's identity is extremely compact. This is the only way she sees herself. I exist only to save your life. There is no room for anything else. That's a problem, right? So let me go back. Are you okay with that? I forced myself to speak the words. Are you okay with that? That's right. Even if I create Serika, even if I given herself a reason to live, you killed Yui and Nono. What is it? Okay, so the question I had in my head is she programmed? Because you created her. Does she actually have any free will? Right? Did anyone ever ask that before? So I'm not saying if she's brainwashed. I'm saying because I wanted someone to save my life, and that person manifested in reality, and their sole belief is that I exist only to save you, does that person have any free will whatsoever? So, yeah, there we go. Right? That's the first thing I ever realized. The first thing I realized for her. And there's some type of like, they're trying to construct some type of perspective on her, where, 1, she doesn't see herself as human. 2, she doesn't view herself as having many choices. 3, she's a creation of Takuru, and he was about to blame himself, but instead she said, "No, don't blame yourself. It's all my fault," right? So I'm trying to figure out where the author is going with this, because it's pretty obvious that due to the music, right, and to how they're framing the words and their timing of it, is they're trying to make you feel sympathy for Serika here. And that really depends, I think, honestly, on how much you attach decisions that she's made for herself, right? Did she really do it because she had the free will to do so, or is it because I never had a choice, and because I was made to save you, I can only save you? In which case, in truth, that isn't her fault. It's Takuru's fault. But she still says, no, don't think about that. Oh, tripping PC. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's something they're trying to bring up, and I'm trying to see if I accept that. That wasn't what the two of us wanted. So he's doing something backwards, which is, you killed Yui and Nono. That wasn't what I wanted. Okay, so that's the problem, right? The reason why I rejected Serika, which is I don't actually believe you care about him because you killed Yui and Nono. Never want that. But that kind, gentle Serika Onoe, I knew would never want that. So he's attaching his own mental image to Serika, which is, you're actually really kind. She had to keep me alive. She was programmed to keep me alive against her own will, which was, I want to save Yui and Nono. even if it meant losing Nono and Yui, even if it meant killing them. See, so they're constructing an argument now, which is, deep inside, the thing you really wanted was to keep those two alive, but because you were quote-unquote programmed, right, to keep me alive, you did the things that you never wanted to do. And this argument only works if you believe that she was created she's created with Takuru's desire being put into her, right? Which is true. It actually is true. I want to be saved, right?
本当にただの人形みたいじゃないか。
そろそろ行く。
That was a lot all at once in that scene. Holy shit. So they're now talking about agency, free will, obviously, and imparting meaning as a way of showing humanity. That last part I can't really explain well, but hopefully you'll understand what I mean as we go through the story. She tossed the old packing tape.
渋谷から出た後はしばらくはおとなしくしていろ。取るべき行動は久野里美代が指示してくれるだろう。夜までここにいるつもりだったが、山添雨季の能力が割と厄介だ。今余計なことをされると困る。それに。
Wow. I don't know how to feel right now.
お前の心変わりが起きても困るしな。
何
Do we know at this point how mind control works? We still haven't asked the most important question, which is, how does it work? The first thing I would have asked her, but I didn't want to interrupt everything that she was saying because it really meant a lot.
なるほど。迷っているのか。
Is she reading my mind?
君は殺人犯だ。
Okay, shit, man. Holy, where do I go with this? Okay, so how it's being constructed now is that Serika is taking the fall for Takeru here. And I at least believe that Takeru is definitely not innocent in this.
どんな事情があるにせよ。そして、その事情が常識で測れないものであっても、殺人は殺人だ。法によって君は裁かれなければならない。
Okay. Don't apply that to Serika. I want you to apply it to Ito now. Ito, who was mind controlled. Literally mind controlled, right? If he just popped into the stream, that's what happened to him. He killed someone, and he's at fault. Is that true? Now apply that to Serika, right? Does that work?
そうだろうな。
And she just says yes.
それに、今回の事件は、尊敬していた先輩の弔い合戦でもある。
Okay. Wow, that must have been really hard to write. I have a lot more respect for this writer. He he essentially wrote an apology for Serica without having her say, I'm sorry. She's not supposed to say, I'm sorry. But it's an offense for that character. Huh.
いいんだな。
復興祭が終わった後、上層部からどんな圧力がかかってこようと、俺は君と佐久間を追う。どこへ逃げようとな。
お前が追うのは一人で済む。生き残るのは私か佐久間のどちらかだけだ。宮代拓。生き残れよ。何があってもお前だけは生き残れ。
Okay, so here's a question to the chat, because this is kind of big now. Given what I explained to you about how the author constructed that scene that we just saw to make you think about, one, how she's taken the fall for Takaru, two, he just realized that he created Serica to be that way, three, she might not have any agency, right, in doing anything else. The main character himself defended Serica for a moment, in which he said, I actually think that she never really wanted to do this, but because I made her this way, she had to do this, right? Now that you know that, what are your choices here? Would you go and see the culprit, or would you leave Shibuya still?
あまり思い詰めるなよ。
Oh, okay, Shinjo, I won't think about it then.
何をですか。
いや。警察は厳戒態勢で復興祭の警備に当たっている。俺もこの後、一旦ここを離れなくちゃいけない。その間、代わりの警官が来る。そうだな。浮君の部屋に隠れているといい。君がいるとは思ってないから、探しはしないはずだ。
はい。
おそらく戻りは夜になる。そのタイミングで渋谷を離れよう。準備をして。
わかりました。
Serica's purpose seems more reactionary than anything else. Can you clarify that? I'm actually really curious what you're thinking. All these horrible things were going on around me, and someone else had already decided how I was going to escape them. I'd done nothing at all. True. No is an example. Don't do anything dangerous. You can choose her. Serica said, just leave. I'll handle it all. You can choose her. But he hasn't made a choice yet. Okay. I can't see her not having agency for how much she's done. So if that's your view on things, and you're able to use evidence to convey that, then Serica is just a murderer, I guess. I mean, if you want to test that out, which we cannot do, you would take a knife, give it to the main character, and tell him to stab himself, and see if Serica has to stop that. Like, on reaction, every single time.
Daitai, 渋谷を離れる本当の理由は何だ?
I mean, but what if that's the case, right? Where if Takeru said, I want to die, here's a knife that I'm going to stab into my face right now. And he goes for it with that exact intention. And then Serika stops him. No matter what. Always. Right? That's like a programmed response. That's not her own. I don't know. This is complicated. Could he reprogram her? I don't know. Technically, within how this world works and how the powers of Espers works, the answer should be yes. But isn't that a little bit wrong? Because that's like saying it's not my fault. Okay, but it isn't his fault if you make the argument that that Serika had actual agency.
尾上は言ったな。
いつからというか。
尾上に思考洞察されたくなかったのでな。とっさに有村と逃げ込んだ。
別にあいつの味方になったわけじゃない。なんだ?
You know, Kitu, you brought up a really good point. Is that the reason why she can fight against mind control? It's because she was created to do only one thing, and therefore it's programmed into her to not ever do anything that's other than that. So like, if I program the computer to just serve me coffee, how does that work? Okay, if I program an android to... But then, that's how mind control works though. It's overriding, right?
他にも何か言いたいことはあるんじゃないのか?
Okay, so if the story is saying that even with mind control, she cannot stop doing the one thing she was programmed to do, then that's making an argument for Serika still.
言ってくれよ。もう隠し事はたくさんなんだ。
そうですね。セリ、尾上セリカはなんて言ってましたか？
というと、
いろいろ話してましたよね。よく聞こえなかったけど、声はしてたから。
You talked about a lot of different things, right? I couldn't make out what it was exactly, but I heard voices. Okay.
そうだな。
Yeah, like, we still don't know how mind control works. And we figured that... you know what? I'm pretty damn sure the author is holding that information back for whatever reason. Because there's no way that an editor, which I'm pretty damn sure must exist for this person's work, would be like, hey, so why didn't you have the main character ask the most obvious question? Right? That wouldn't go through. I mean, it could. Maybe just both forgot about it.
やはりな。お前、どう考えている？
何がです？
尾上の言い分だ。
どうって。 たとえ僕が彼女を生み出してしまったとしても、どうしても納得できないというか。
違う。そういうことじゃない。あいつがしたことは許されない。それはどんな理由を振りかざそうと変わらない。
Again, we're talking about agency here, right? If 100% Serica is controlled to do only one thing, whether that involves killing for her or not, I cannot explain that even better. Let me try again. If Serica is programmed to do everything that she wants... Wow! One more time. If Serica is programmed, she has no agency, then is she actually supposed to be blamed for what she did? And then, if your answer is yes, then your answer should also be yes for Ito, who killed under mind control.
私が聞いているのはそういうことではなく、あいつが昨べ事件に関して説明したことだ。お前はどう思った？
That's not what I'm talking about. What did you think about her explanation of the case last night? I don't remember. You informed me, Mio.
昨べ、尾上が話したこと。
宮代先輩、覚えてますか？伊藤先輩と結衣さんの事件の後、私が言ったこと。
Do you remember what I said after what happened with Ito and Yui? I do not.
私がもっと注意深く能力を使っていれば、伊藤先輩の言葉がどこかおかしいって気づけたはずだって。
If I had been more careful with how I used my power, I could have figured out that something was wrong with what Ito was saying. Do you remember what I said after what happened with Ito and Yui? This line. Okay. Nope. That flew over my head. I didn't get it. What she said last night. You're talking about what Serica said last night. That applies somehow to this right here. I forgot what Serica said last night, so I don't remember. Do you remember what I said after what happened with Ito and Yui? That if I had been more careful with how I used my power, I could have figured out that something was wrong with what Ito was saying. If I had used my power when Ito was saying something, I could have been able to prevent what happened to Ito and Yui. Okay, so self-blame. Self-blame? Is that the main thing you're saying? And that's the realization? Was she lying? I don't remember. I don't remember what she said last night.
いえ、彼女は確かに真実を語っていました。でもなんか変なんです。うまく言えないけど、真実すぎるというか。
Okay, so I've been curious about Aramura's power for the longest time, which is, does it detect emotions that you believe to be true, even though it is fake? So, for example, the sky is green right now. 100% I believe the sky is green. But if you look outside, the sky is fucking blue, right? And she goes like, what? That's the truth? You think that's the truth, right? Does that fuck with how you use your Esper powers? Or, I believe I did everything I could to save Serica. I think it's true, even though there's evidence that it's false. Does that work? I don't know. I don't know Armoro's full power. That's something I've always been curious about. Okay, so then, how does that apply here? She was telling the truth, but what? It sounded too true. Is this talking about mind control? As in, mind control sound okay. You can mind control someone to say something that sounds too true, and that applied to what you were thinking when you saw Ito. What he's saying sounds too true. That's not normal. Whenever I read someone's mind, whenever I freaking do a lie detector test on someone, I've never seen this result before, where the answer isn't just true. The answer is too true. Like, what the fuck? Too true? What does that even mean? Right? Is that what she's saying?
なんだよそれ。
私、ずっと注意深く聞いてました。私の能力って、相手の言葉が本当か嘘か分かりますけど、人の言葉って、いつも白黒はっきりしてるわけじゃないです。
Oh, what? Lying isn't just black and white?
Bullshit! Fuck! 話してる時って、いろいろ迷ったり、曖昧になったり、自分でも何言ってるか分からなくなったり。
Okay.
とにかく、ちゃんとしてないですよね。だから普通は、本当のことを話してても、ぼんやりとしたグレーみたいな部分が混じってるものなんです。
人間が言葉を発するという行為は、常に理路整然とした思考の上で行われているわけじゃないからな。理性と感情が入り混じり、時に論旨は飛躍し、会話の道筋はひどく不安定だ。
Okay, so everything I've been talking about.
でも、彼女の尾上セリカの言葉は全てまっすぐだったんです。
Okay.
まるでシナリオでも用意されていて、それを読んでいるみたいに。
So, mind control again or programmed? Which one is it, right?
それに、あいつの話そのものにも気に入らない点がある。フリージアであいつの話を聞いていた時は、愚かなことに、私も頭に血が上っていてな。冷静に考えられなかった。だが、ここへ来る途中、ふと疑問が浮かんで、そこから検討をしてみた。だから、尾上に思考洞察されるわけにいかなかったんだ。
Okay, she was gonna experiment with something.
ああ、それで。
Last night, Serika has stayed in the exam room instead of coming up to the living room to talk of everyone else. I still don't remember that.
本格的におかしいと思ったきっかけは、昨夜の電話でのやりとりだ。あいつは私に、お前を渋谷から逃がすように言った。それが、お前を生存させることにつながると。
Ah, I remember now. She told me to get you out of Shibuya. She said that was the best way to keep you alive.
ええ。
確かに、お前を渋谷から逃がすということ自体は筋が通っている。お前にとっての脅威になってしまった佐久間を殺すという選択もな。だが、私にお前を託すというのが矛盾していないか。
That her words were too true, but they seem the truth to me. Getting you out of Shibuya makes sense, so does killing Sakuma, who is a threat to you. You're saying that makes sense, but doesn't it seem strange that she'd give you to me? Why? Because you hate espers? Or is it something to do with her wanting to protect you all the time?
.あいつはどうして私にお前を託したと思う？
だから久野里さんは何か知ってるんでしょう。僕らの知らない何かを。
それを差し引いてだ。そもそもあいつの存在意義がお前の生存にあるのなら、お前が最後の時を迎える瞬間までずっと一緒にいなくてはならないはずだ。違うか？
I mean, yeah, I've anticipated that, but what if there's no other option to keep him alive, and that happens to be the best result, which is I have to go here and you have to do this, otherwise there's no other option to keep you alive. She's forced to do that.
だからそれは通す。佐久間のせいで予定が狂って。
Okay, go on. I want to see the explanation.
確かに彼女はそう言っていましたし、嘘はありませんでした。でも、嘘じゃないのはおかしいと思いませんか？
Nope, whoosh, over my head. Okay, what's happening here? Even without that, if the reason she exists is to keep you alive, she would need to stay with you until the last moment of your life. Am I wrong? Will that change because of Dad, because of Sakuma? That's what she said, and she wasn't lying. But don't you find it strange that she wasn't lying? I'll let this one go. No, I don't see it.
Huh?
そう。あいつの言葉は真実に見せかけた嘘かもしれないんだよ。
Okay, so you're setting me up to believe that it is possible to mess with Aramura's reading, which I've wondered about the entire time. Okay.
真実に見せかけた嘘。
Okay. So then apply that to Serica. I am lying, and I am making sure that when I lie, it seems like it's the truth. Because I'm really good at that. Okay. Why?
宮代拓を生かし続けるためならば、手段は選ばない。あいつはそういう行動をする。
Yeah, but that's the belief that she's required to stick next to me at all situations to keep me alive as best as possible. At which I don't think that applies to every single situation.
だから、それのどこに嘘が？
Yeah, what if I attach the fucking bomb to Serica's body and she can't remove it? Do you think she's gonna keep sticking next to me?
佐久間だと。所詮末端組織の研究者に過ぎ。そんな小物と差し違えて何になる？ただの無駄死にでしかない。
What's the point of dying to kill him? It's useless. Okay, so... No, I can think of too many explanations for why you need to kill that scientist. What's the point of dying to kill him? It's useless. I have to think about it from your perspective. You're saying that she's lying. You're saying that she wants to keep you alive at all costs, so she must need to stay by you at all times, in which case I'm poking holes in that thought process. But let's just say you're right. Okay, so you're right. And we'll also assume that Sakuma, there's no point in dying to kill him, which I think is actually incorrect. But I'll say you're right. What are you trying to convey to me right now? What's the point of dying to kill him? If this person is programmed, no matter what, to save you, you want to think of an option that will keep you alive at all times. Because if you're alive at all times, you'll have more chances to save the main character. That's the argument she's making. Okay, I get that now. Therefore, if you are programmed to save the main character whenever possible, wouldn't you try to think of a situation where you wouldn't die, so you can always save the main character whenever you can? Sure. Okay. So I'm going to ignore the fact that I think this one exception exists, which is this one event. In order to save Takeru, this is the one exception to that rule, which is she has to kill the scientist to give Takeru a chance to live. Fine. Okay, I accept that. I'll go with that thought. I guess it's because of the exception that sounds so funky, isn't it? Huh. Okay. So then you're saying there's a lie in what she's saying, which is going against her programming, which you're saying is because she's being mind controlled?
委員会は巨大だ。佐久間を殺したところで、宮代の安全など全く保証されない。なのに、自分が死んでしまってはどうにもならないだろう。
Okay, so unless the committee has a bunch of mind control people, I would say killing Sakuma, who has one of the most frightening powers in all of existence, is far more important to guaranteeing the main character's safety than not killing him and doing something else that avoids that option. But let's say the community has a bunch of mind controller people, in which case, damn, you're fucking right.
だから久野里さんに僕を預けるって。
バカを言うな。確かに私はお前をおとりにして委員会の実態を探りたいと思っている。だがお前など不必要になったら簡単に切り捨てる。守り続けるわけがない。尾上セリカは私の思考を読めるんだぞ。そんなことわからないと思うか？
You know, you're doing a good job. Okay, I understand exactly what you're thinking about right now, Mio.
つまり、委員会が本当に宮代先輩を狙っているのなら、彼女は先輩のそばから絶対に離れるはずないんです。自分の手でどこまでも先輩を守ろうとするはず。違いますか？
Yeah, and I guess maybe the committee is a bigger threat than that small-time scientist, which I disagree with him being a small-time scientist, but okay.
それは。
そしてもう一つ、決定的におかしなことがある。あいつはなぜ最初からお前に真実を告げなかった？
Okay, that's good. You're right. Okay. So say that she really did want to keep me alive this entire time. Why don't you just say, "Hi, Takeru, guess what? Apparently there's a bunch of people in existence who want to kill you. Well, not kill you, but they might want to kill you. Okay, Takeru? So here's the thing. I think that the best way to keep you safe is actually to tell you the truth. Your dad is actually a killer, by the way. There's a committee that wants to like do a bunch of dumb shit against people's own will. Yeah, there's that. Okay, so let's say, can I defend that? Is there any way telling Takeru the truth is the best way to keep him alive? So her initial explanation was, I'm being blackmailed to keep you alive. I am being blackmailed by a mind controller. I want to keep you alive. I'm being blackmailed to kill a bunch of people. The agreement was that if I kill a bunch of people, you will stay alive. Versus, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Ah, she's right. Hey, Takeru, I'm being blackmailed to kill a bunch of people right now in order to keep you alive. The person doesn't know that I am telling you this. I need you to help me get out of the situation to keep you alive. Yeah, she's right. Okay, that's a good one.
最初？
渋谷地震による昏睡からお前が目覚めた時だよ。
I need to think of a counter argument to that. What kind of situation would exist where I can't tell you that? Because he can't read minds. He can just mind control you, that's it. I mean, unless he has more powers than that, but...
お前を生き延びさせることが目的なら、真実を隠す必要なんて最初からないんだ。むしろ全てを正直に告げ、能力や委員会に対する情報をお前に与えた方が助かる可能性はずっと高い。そもそもそういった情報があれば、お前は一連の殺人事件にだって絶対に首を突っ込まなかっただろう。わざわざ危険な目に遭うことだってなかった。
Okay, so what are the possible explanations for this? One, she has way more agency than she's trying to tell you, in which case she's lying to better something for herself. Two, she's telling the truth, and there does exist a situation in which telling you the truth would put you more in danger than not telling you the truth. I can't fathom that being the case yet. I would have to do a lot of thinking. What's the other option? She's being mind controlled, which I think is what they're leading me on to believe. And she is keeping you in the dark against her own wishes. So the more so you're telling me she's either lying to benefit herself or she's being mind controlled. Those are the two options right here. And the middle option that I'm thinking right now is really hard to explain, because I cannot think of a single event in which not telling me the truth of my own powers and the fact that a bunch of people are trying to kill me would not somehow raise the chances of me surviving.
ね、なんか変でしょ、先輩。
Okay, so how about this? She's being mind controlled, and she truly does want to keep me alive. She cannot explicitly say things about herself because she's being mind controlled, and she can fight against it for some reason. So she has to tell me in extremely odd fashions to let me know that I could die. Is that it? I don't know. At this point, I need to see what the author is thinking. I don't know. If I don't have full control over Serica and I'm the mind controller, at least I would try to force one thing, which is don't tell Takaru the truth. Naturally, I'm thinking that. There's no bias. I'm being serious. I would definitely do that. If I cannot force Serica to 100% be under my control, that's the one thing I don't want her to say. Oh, and my identity. That too. That was, I want to say, cleverly hidden, but I could be wrong. Maybe my bias for Serica hid that intention from the author. I'm not entirely sure.
なんで？
逆に宮代先輩を危険な目に遭わせようとしてるみたいですよね。
Okay.
でも、尾上の言葉が嘘だなんてありえないだろ。昨夜は有村がそばにいたんだから。
Okay, well, suddenly, I can't even trust Aramura's abilities, so this kind of fucking sucks.
いえ、方法がないこともないんです。私の能力の盲点をつく方法が。
I remember now. The blind spot is because we believe Aramura's powers are absolute, which I've questioned. So the author used that to put this situation in front of us. But there must have been something else, because I was questioning that the entire time. So it might have been my own bias. So there's that, and there might be something else too, which I'm not sure. So this is legitimate, reveal to me.
有村の能力の盲点。
Okay.
まさか、伊藤の時と同じ。
Okay, that's a big fucking deal.
はい。 私が伊藤先輩の異常を見過ごしてしまった。それと同じ方法なら。
Who was mind controlled even before the game began. Yeah, okay.
思考誘導。
There might be a little bit of hope.
つまり尾上は佐久間に思考誘導されていて。
Let me grab a glass of water. There has been really major reveals that happened. Because the author essentially just took a scene that was really well constructed to argue for Serica. And now he's giving me this scene, which also argues for Serica, but in different ways. I don't know how to think about that anymore. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so what's the problem with this? So the author is now leading me to believe that she's mind controlled, which is something that I thought about already. It was a defense for her. Now, you took a scene, which I thought was really beautifully constructed, and you're saying that there's a chance that everything she said in that scene is untrue because she's mind controlled? Wow. Okay, boy. That is... They're both defenses for Serica, essentially. It's just that this one makes it more obvious. Okay. As a writer, why would you do that? To show that she is not fully under control? Question mark? I can't read the intentions of the author right now, unless one scene was supposed to be that way and then you move on and then the editor said no, it's not obvious enough. But I can't fathom why you would deconstruct a scene like that unless you're trying to give impact on a reveal, and even then, damn fuck, man. Okay, we'll keep going.
あんなことをしたのは伊藤と同じように操られていただけで。
She only did it because she was being controlled, just like Ito.
私もそれなら少しは救われるなって思ったんですけど。
Okay, so there's nuance here. It's not just that she's mind controlled, which is why you have the previous scene exist. Go on.
あくまでも可能性の一つだ。それにすがるな。
だそうです。
そうか。
先輩。
妙な期待はするな。それすら罠かもしれん。
Yeah, but so could everything else. That's the problem with this visual novel. That there's no safe answer anymore. There's no safety period. Like, what if the mind control person mind controlled Mio and mind controlled Aramura? Okay, well then we're fucked, right? Where do we go from here?
はい、わかってます。
I could probably pull a bullshit answer out of my ass to fathom a reason that both these people are mind controlled, but I'm not gonna do that. That's not how this writing is leading me to do it. God, save me. Too much thinking.
今嘘をついたのか僕は。
You know what? You're right. Everything's the Matrix. All these characters don't actually exist. Takaru is actually in a coma right now, and he's imagining every single event that's happening. Cthulhu actually came from the universe, and he popped down, and he made the main character insane. And everything he's seeing right now is not real. Esper's real? Come on, man.
私も思考誘導の線は考えている。でもそれも腑に落ちないんだ。佐久間が己の思考を操ってわざわざ仲間割れを演出する理由は何だ。
Fair question. I haven't thought about that, Mio. Why fake a fight between them? Step back. I think there's potential for mind control too, but it still doesn't make sense. If Sakuma is controlling her, why fake a fight between them? So you just gave me a weakness in your explanation. You told me doubt Serika because Ito showed this condition of being too true when he was speaking. Same thing with Serika. There's a chance that both of them... Okay, Ito was mind-controlled, okay? There's a chance that Serika as well is mind-controlled. However, it doesn't make sense that if the mind-controller truly does have power over Serika, why the hell are we fighting, right? Why are you even bothering with that? So she poked a hole in her own argument. In which case, the previous thing that I said with the scene, all of that, right, that's applicable again. Okay, so now, what if both... I don't want to fucking think about this. This is so exhausting. What if both are applicable? In which case, the explanation would be, she's partially mind-controlled. Fuck, man.
宮代。
はい。
よく考えろ。もしかするとこれが重大な鍵かもしれない。
Go ahead, Mio. You have blown my mind. Sort of.
昨日も聞いたことだが、地震の時お前は何を望んだ。その結果己がリアルブートされたのだとしたら、あいつに何を求めたんだ。
Okay, so you're using that to clarify Serika's intentions.
本当にあいつはお前を生存させることが目的なのか。
Hell, maybe you were actually really hungry, and when you said Serika save me, it meant Serika go to McDonald's and give me a hamburger. Serika said it was her goal to keep me alive, to save my life, literally. There was a brief but strong pain in my head. I pressed my hand to my forehead. Okay, so he's having trouble remembering specifically.
大丈夫ですか?
Save me. And she gives you a hamburger. I'm just imagining that right now.
とにかく助けてくれと言った気がします。だけど
Convenient. Okay. Man. But what does that say about Takuru? If he really wanted Sarika to save him by giving him a hamburger. Human thought is so nuanced, so deep. What kind of hamburger? Did it have to be McDonald's hamburger? But as a McDonald's hamburger, isn't the McDonald's hamburger killing you? I mean, think about it. That's one of like the worst unhealthy foods out there. So if you said save me, and she gives you a McDonald's hamburger, is she really saving you? Isn't she killing you? I don't know nothing's real anymore. Nothing's real anymore. Everything is fake.
嘘です。
Sorry, Armuro.
いや、ダメだ。新庄さんが代わりの警官が来るって言ってたから、ウキの部屋に隠れてろって。
Does Sarika have free will when she enters McDonald's?
じゃあ、もういいですから、上に行きましょう。
Where are the stock fuck and bullshit clips from? So this one is from a character called Jun Moribe from Root Double. She's the girl with green hair. She says fuck when a gate closes and she can't escape. This one is from An Takamaki from Persona 5. I forgot when she says it. We just found it funny. There's no clips of it online, at least not I'm aware of. I ripped it on my own.
久野里さんもすいません。
どのみち、尾上がここにいない以上、情報の裏付けは取れないしな。お前の話だと、尾上は今夜10時28分にシアターキューブに現れるということだが、残念ながら私では能力者2人を相手にして立ち回りを演じることはできそうにない。ハンドガンも久しく撃ってないしな。
What? She's lived in America, okay? Don't you know that every American has shot a fire gun? Sorry, a handgun before?
仕方がない。尾上の言うことにはどこか矛盾があるとはいえ、今はそれを探る時間も人も全く足りない。
Okay.
とりあえずだが、予定通り新庄さんが戻ってくるのを待って渋谷を脱出する。もし何らかの企みがそこにあるなら乗ってやるまでだ。
I mean, she's right. We can't figure it out at this point.
.ちゃんとお姉さんしてるんだな。
いえ、私なんてまだ。
Man, this last section is very long. There's so much to think about though, so there's a good reason for it.
出発は夜になるって。はい、一応は。でもよくわからなくて。 とりあえず一旦離れるだけだから心配しなくていいと思うよ。はい。
お前は大丈夫なのか？
大丈夫っすよ。前から旅に出てみたかったんで。
Man, if we do make it out of Shibuya, which I highly doubt, I am interested to know what the hell will we do if we make it out of Shibuya.
なんて言うんですかね、こういうの。バンドワゴン？バンドでワゴン？
What?
花、ユウトが起きちゃうから。着替え足りるかな。買わなきゃダメか。
Man, Hana might as well be like selling products. Now I want to eat squid.
有村さん、よかったら、
Shibuya to Canada.
ののさんの使ってください。ののさんの部屋にありますから。
いや、でもそれは。
Sorry, what are you talking about? Clothing. Okay.
いいんです。ね、タクルさん。
なあ、ののはどんなものでも無駄にするのが大嫌いだったから、もらってやってくれないか。
Yeah, what if Hana is actually the true culprit? And the story is that she mind controlled everyone in Shibuya to think a certain way because she's interested. She's interested in writing. She wants to write a murder mystery novel.
けど、先輩は。
And the cost of her mind controlling everyone is she's lost the ability to speak forever.
いいんだ。
What is true? What is fake? I don't know anymore.
わかりました。もらっていきます。
Am I doing this tomorrow? Probably at night, yeah. Around the same time, super late at night.
はい。
あ。
Would she be the only Esper in that case? Technically you could mind control someone. And, they still retain their Esper powers, so she doesn't have to be.
渋谷を離れる。
Take it easy, man.
地震の時、お前は何を望んだ？その結果、尾上がリアルブートされたのだとしたら、あいつに何を求めたんだ？
Let me grab something really quick. It's just a small snack. Kind of a interesting. Okay, these two lines right here. Man, I wonder how long it takes to write a chapter like this. I don't know. Maybe it took him like months. Maybe it took him a week. I'd be very impressed. Maybe it took him years. Oh god, now I'm hungry. In fact, I'm starving. What did I eat today? I had 2 sandwiches, which I made myself.
今日は復興を祝う祭りなんです。死亡事故とか起こすわけにはいきませんから。
なにあの人たち。
あれだろ、朝からさニュースでバンバンやってんじゃん。
Oh right, this group of people. Remember at the marketplace, there was a bunch of, I guess, old men wearing masks. That never got resolved, and now I guess it's happening. Creepy. You know, we never figured out if guarantee. Oh, never mind, we did. The Suma stickers are actually, some of them are cameras. I forgot about that. Where are we? We're at the festival that's happening in Shibuya right now, and an event that happened earlier on in the game that never got clarified, which was there's a bunch of masked men in a marketplace that were buying things wearing the stickers as masks. They now have appeared during the festival, and we don't know what they're doing besides putting up more stickers. And Mio said we're gonna go with the original plan, despite how many factors there are into whether to trust Serica or not. We are gonna go with the original plan, which is we're gonna just book it out of Shibuya and see you later, right?
見えねえよ、どけって。
マジで？あれ？
Oh, right. And also, it's very weird that Serica is fighting the mind controller if she's being mind controlled. Right, if that's an explanation that you gave her.
今すぐ死ねよ死ね人殺しが
宮代です。宮代拓が慰霊碑前に姿を現しました。
Okay, that's especially funky because the original game plan was to just leave Shibuya. So what's Takeru doing here? Maybe that's not really him, right? Okay, so I'm guessing this was earlier? Third person perspective, okay.
うっぜ宮代うぜあいつ本当にどっかで死ぬのかよ。逃げ出したんじゃねえの？
早くしてよね。死ぬにしても死なないにしてもこのままじゃ帰れないじゃん。どっちでもいいからさ。
長尺が。
Wow, Serica, I didn't expect you to cuss. Actually, no, that fits her character now, given how much has changed.
佐久間は多分宮代を殺した後慰霊碑前に遺体を晒すつもりだな。おそらくさっきの男もそのための道具。
That man? Several hours ago, she heard that Miyashiro had appeared in front of the memorial. But she quickly learned that the report was mistaken. Okay. Okay, so false information being reported as true. Okay, still third-person perspective, though. The dull pain in her head that resulted from resisting Sakuma's power would come back the second she let her guard down. Yeah, and the reason why they're not doing first-person perspective is because they want to have that distance. Which is, what would be an example? I had lost a lot of blood. The dull pain in my head that resulted from me resisting Sakuma's powers would come back in a second if I let my guard down. That would give you an exact indicator of what she's thinking. But third-person perspective puts a gap in the distance away from that. So there's still the chance that she's being manipulated, or there's still a chance that whatever she's doing of her own free will, and we can't tell because we're not in her head.
Miyashiro Takuru.
This is really funky.
出てこい。楽しませてくれ。
死ね。死ね死ね。かっこよく死ね。
あいつらか。
Ah, okay. So they're screaming in their thoughts very loudly, and that's why she could hear them. So was this exposed in detail at some point? That Serika went to Sakuma, attacked him, and was stabbed in the process? No. That didn't happen. So we didn't see that scene, but as she was running away, remember how she had to like hit herself in the stomach to resist his mind control? The assumption that the game is trying to say is that she fought Sakuma, but we didn't see that specific scene.
Miyashiro Takuru, Miyashiro Takuru.
出てこい。楽しませてくれ。
死ね。死ね死ね。かっこよく死ね。
I wonder if those people in masks are all espers. And if they want something enough, it will happen. Same thing with how, you know, espers in this game, when they form their powers, it's from a desire that they want.
So ろそろか。似合わないな。
The hell? They dropped what they were carrying and began to stagger. Stagger out is a very interesting verb here. And they dropped what they were carrying, which I don't know what they were. Okay, is this a trap? They weren't thinking about anything? Oh, wow. Well, there we go. This isn't good.
思考誘導。まったく、準備のいいことだ。
Wow, okay. How is this going to work? Well, that was creepy. Okay.
準備はできたか?
Okay, so Serica mind controlled? Question mark? Still possible? Or fighting mind control? Question mark? Still possible? I'm leaning way towards the second explanation.
ああ。全員いつでも行ける。
Was there a specific reason why we had to leave at night? Or it just took that long? We should have booked it right away, that's all I'm saying. Unless there's dangers of, like, I don't know, police being aware at a certain time or something, but I don't know, man.
Yosh. 今から数時間、ここにいるのは俺だけだ。
Okay, so it's 4:38 in the morning right now. I'm thinking of going to sleep, waking up, streaming this game later. So I don't ruin my day every single time I try to stream Chaos Child. I'm thinking that's gonna be how I'm gonna go about it. Oh man, I'm hungry too. ETA for stream? Okay, so let's say I sleep. Let's say I sleep for, I don't know, 8 hours. That'd be nice. Okay. So how about 3 or 4 p.m. PST is when I'll stream. But the problem with that, though, is that when I stream, we'll hit Scott's schedule, which is 5 hours after. That's why there's such a problem. Okay, so either I ruin my sleep schedule even further to get deeper into this game, or what? I mean, yeah, if I continue reading, then trust me, I'm gonna keep ruining my sleep schedule. The problem is time to go through this game is extremely limited, given how the schedule is working right now. So I think the best I can do is take like a 6-hour nap or something, grab food, come back, eat, and then stream. So 11 or 12, which will give me a lot of hours to go through. 11 or 12 PST, huh? Okay, but regardless, a lot of my thinking is I'm just gonna go rest, because it's not good to keep consistently staying awake at this time. Okay, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I honestly don't know when I'm going to stream, but it's not going to be at night. It's going to be earlier on in the day. 11, 12, 3, or 4. Those are the specific time frames. I'll give a tweet out when I do stream. So whenever I wake up, I'll make a tweet. Please follow us on Twitter and Facebook to know when I will do that. Or follow us on Discord by checking out below the info section. And I'll be announcing it there as well. You can also help out by donating at tinyurl.com/FKOKoopa. At least I would appreciate that. And you can follow me personally at VasedCoopa. Excuse me, my throat's killing me, I don't know why. At VasedCoopa, twitter.com/VasedCoopa. Okay, I'll see you guys later, and hopefully you'll be there. Quick question, was there any issues with the stream tonight? Like, was there sound clipping or video stutter, anything like that? Because if there was, I need to know. I was recording this entire stream just to see if there's any issues that happened prior, which was XSplit programming problems when you local record. Just let me know that right away before I go to sleep. Did not notice sound issues. Okay, well, that's good enough for me. Thank you. Alright, take it easy, guys. I'm gonna get some rest. Let me go ahead and host a stream.